Welcome back to the final Gemara, Daf Chav Zayin, Amud Aleph, the top of the page, the first word. It's close to learn Torah Shem Tamima. Every word we learn, every word of Torah is a mitzvah. So now we're going to learn Chveisnish, I don't know, 100 words of Gemara. It's 100 mitzvahs. Every word is a mitzvah. It's a big schus, it's very halig, it's very special, and every word of explanation of the Torah is even a mitzvah. And halavai, everyone will do well in the Bechira on Sunday, but more important is to learn Torah Shem Tamima. So we have to first, we're going to, again, just give a few answers to the sheet, which is background to this Gemara. On the sheet number 8 and number 9. Because that gives us a background to then we'll read through the entire Gemara. Number 8 is explain a case of Eid Zomim. Eid Zomim is a case where two individuals testify about something, whatever it might be, that Reuven lent Shimon money on Sunday at 2 o'clock in Central Avenue. And then later, at some later date, two other witnesses that say, you guys could not have testified about that because you were with us at that exact time in such and such a place. So it's impossible that you knew that, it's impossible that you gave testimony. That's what Eidim Zoimim is. That's number 8. Number 9, explain the case in our Gemara. So the case in our Gemara is where you have two witnesses that testify about something at a particular date, we'll say January, and then in February and March they have many other cases that they sign on and they testify, comes along at a later date, April, May, and two witnesses say, you could not have testified in January, you were with us. So they become Eidim Zomer in January, and the question is, what about all the cases in between? Are they puzzled for all those cases? Do we say retroactively they become puzzled, or only from this point on they are puzzled and now Rishon? That's the Machlokas, Abaye and Rav. The Rav says, Mikanu labo nifsal. Rav says you only become puzzled from this point on, from the time that you became Eidim Zomim, so we'll call it April or May. At that point, and there, Mikan from here labo and forward, but not retroactively. Now the Gemara will discuss the reasons behind Abaye and the reason behind Rav. Abaye Omar, Abaye says, Limafreya hu nifsal. He becomes Pasul Lemafreya retroactively. Why? Me'idna decide, Rashu. Me'idna from the time decide that he testified. Rashu, he's a Rasha. We proved he was lying in January. So therefore, he was a Rasha then. Oh, we didn't know it the whole time, but he really was a Rasha. What does it matter if we knew it or not? We've proven he was a Rasha. And therefore, he could never have been an aid. And therefore, by Torah Amra al Tashes Yadchem Rasha, the Torah says, do not place your hand with a Rasha. Al Tashes Rasha aid. Do not make a Rasha an aid. And this guy cannot be an aid. It was puzzled all the time and puzzled retroactively. All the cases that happened were thrown out the window. The Rava Amar, Mikanu labo nifsal. Rava says no, he's only puzzled from this point on, from this point that you created, that you made him Eidim Zomim in April or in May. Not the prior cases. Why? We give two possibilities in understanding Rava. First possibility is Eid Zomim Chideshu. Eid Zomim Chideshu. Why? Eid Zomim Chideshu. What does that mean, Eid Zomim Chideshu? The whole entire concept of Eid Zomim is a Chiddush. It's a new idea. It's a new idea in the Torah. It's not logical that they are really Rishayim. Why? The Gemara says, My chaz is to Samcha Hani. Who's to say? My chaz is, what do we see? My chaz is, what do we see? To Samcha Hani, that we rely on the second pair that says you were with us. Samcha Hani. Rely on the first pair that they testified truthfully. It's two people against two people. Who's to know who's telling the truth? So it's a chiddush that they're Eidim Zomim and that they're puzzled. And therefore, if it's a chiddush, we don't really know the Risham. We're like paskening the Risham. If we're paskening the Risham, because it's really 2 against 2, we can only pasken from now and forward, not retroactively. And that's what the Gemara says. Ein l'chabo, we don't have within this halacha, ella mishas chidusho ve'elech. But from the time, mishas, from the time chidusho of this chiddush, of this new idea, ve'elech and forward. So they're only puzzled forward because it's a psak halacha that they're puzzled, because it's 2 against 2. Maybe they're really not even Rishon. That's the first way of understanding Rava. The Ikadam, there are those that say a second way of understanding Rava. Rava nami kabayis virle. Rava also really holds like Abaye. He agrees that they're Rishon retroactively and should theoretically be puzzled from January. Umay tam kamar. What's the reason he says that only from now? Mikan my time kommer mikan laba. What's the reason he says from now on forward only they're possible? Mishum pseida del kuchos, because we're afraid of merchants losing out. Mishum pseida del kuchos, because the lekuchos, the merchants and people doing business deals and loans, they're going to lose out. For the past few months, they thought these people were kosher. They were using them as witnesses. They didn't know they're Rishon. Why should they all lose out and all their contracts and all their deals go null and void? It's not fair. So Rava says, really, I know they're Rishon, but it's not fair to everybody else, so we're going to say they were kosher until now that they would prove that they were Rishon. So we have two ways of understanding Rava. Either he really argues on Abaye, even in theory, that they're not considered Rishon, but from now, because it's only a chiddush they are Rishon, or no, I know they were Rishon, but it's only going to be possible from now because it's not fair to everybody else. Now what's the difference between these two ways of understanding Rava? Is there an afkamina? Yes, there are practical differences. And that's when the Gemara goes back to my binayo, what is the difference between them, between these two? What is the difference between the two understandings of Rava's opinion? There's one difference between them. We have two pairs of witnesses. We're learning our Rashi now. Two pairs of witnesses against their one pair. So now it's not a chiddush anymore. Two pairs are saying they were with us. So it's two pairs against their one pair. It's not a chiddush that we believe the two pairs. It's rov. It's a majority. Most people are saying that they're liars. So they're Rishon. So Rava should agree with Abaye that retroactively Rishon. And only if we have the second answer should it be possible from now. That's the first nafkamina. There's two pairs against one pair, and that creates a situation where the chiddush answer doesn't make sense. Only if Rava is saying like the second answer would the psul start now. Otherwise, according to the first explanation of Rava, he would agree to Abaye that the psul starts retroactively. The second nafkamina, inami, or also de paslino begazlanusa, that the witnesses are not saying that they were with us. They're saying they're robbers, they're thieves. They were thieves in January. They were thieves in December, and therefore they're puzzled retroactively for sure because they were Rishayim. It's not a chiddush anymore. The first answer again doesn't fly. And therefore Rava, if he's holding like the first explanation of Rava, would agree to Abaye, they're pasul l'mafreya, because they're thieves. It's not a concept of chiddush within Eden Zomim. And therefore only if you hold like the second way of explaining Rava would he say the psul starts now. Those are the two nafkaminas. Listen to that over and over. I know that last nafkamina is a little bit difficult. You have to chazer and chazer until you really truthfully understand it. Write it out, think it through. It's not that difficult, but you have to get it. Finally, the Gemara ends, it's not so hard. The Amar of Yirmiyah medifte, Avid of Papi Uvda Kavasi de Rava. Rav Yirmiyah medifte, Avid of Papi Uvda. Rav Papa did a thing, meaning he did a maisa. He passed in the case, Kavase, like the opinion of Rava. Mar Baravashi, Amar Baravashi says, Halchasa Kavasi de Abaye. The halacha follows the opinion of Abaye. And what is the actual halacha? The Gemara says, V'hilchasa Kavase de Abaye. B'ya'al Kagam. The halacha follows the opinion of Abaye, B'yal Kagam. Yal Kagam stands for 6 cases. Each letter is Rashi Tevos. 6 cases that we follow Abaye. Every other case we hold like Rava and a Machlokas Abaye Rava, except for Yal Kagam. And the ayin is Eidim Zoymimim. So by Eidim Zoymim we follow the opinion of Abaye, and that's why we follow Abaye over here. That is the final Gemara inside you have to know for this Bechina, for this semester. Hallelujah, we're going to learn a lot more Gemara and a lot more Torah together. But hopefully, B'ez Hashem, everyone should learn well and chazer well, do beautifully on Sunday. And Amir Hashem, just live lives of Torah, because Torah is Hashem to me. Okay.